I had always believed that marriage was a partnership built on trust, loyalty, and shared values. My wife, Hina, and I had been married for over a decade. We had weathered ups and downs, celebrated milestones, and raised two beautiful children together. I had never imagined that one casual conversation with a friend could trigger a betrayal so profound that it would shake the very foundations of our life. Together, it started innocuously. Hina had met an old friend for coffee, someone I had met only in passing, but whose influence I now realized had been significant. The next day, she approached me with a tone that was both casual and tentative. "I've been thinking," she said, "and my friend suggested something that could help us grow as individuals." I smiled politely, curious but cautious. "And what's that?" I asked, assuming it was a harmless idea or some self-improvement advice. Hina took a deep breath, and the words that followed felt like a punch to the chest. She suggested that we open our marriage, explore self-discovery and experiences with other people. She says it could be liberating. For a moment, I didn't respond. I stared at her, trying to comprehend whether I had heard her correctly. My mind raced through 100 scenarios, but none could have prepared me for this. "Open our marriage?" I asked finally, my voice tight with disbelief. "Yes," she said calmly, as if discussing the weather. "It could be exciting. A chance for personal growth. We'd still love each other, but it could be freeing." I felt my chest tighten, my stomach churn, and my mind reel. Marriage, to me, had always been about trust, intimacy, and shared life. The idea that someone I trusted implicitly could treat our vows as optional, experiment with them like a concept rather than a commitment, was devastating. I felt a profound sense of betrayal, not because she had cheated yet, but because she was entertaining the idea as legitimate, influenced by someone else's advice rather than our shared values. I tried to remain calm, though my thoughts were racing. "Hina, this isn't about self-discovery," I said carefully. "Marriage is about trust. Love isn't measured by experiences outside our bond. It's measured by loyalty, respect, and the choices we make together. Suggesting this seriously is a betrayal of everything we've built." Her expression shifted slightly, a mixture of defensiveness and excitement. "It's just an idea. We wouldn't have to act on it immediately. It's about exploring possibilities, understanding ourselves better." I shook my head. "Exploring possibilities at the expense of our vows? That's not exploration, it's undermining. It's not liberation, it's betrayal. I can't support this." Hina looked surprised, as if she expected some level of agreement or compromise. But I was resolute. The principles of our marriage were not negotiable. Loyalty and trust are not optional. They are the foundation. By entertaining the suggestion, she had already crossed a line. Over the following days, I noticed a subtle shift in her behavior. She seemed preoccupied, excited at the idea, discussing it casually with friends, and even hinting at her curiosity about other men. The betrayal was no longer theoretical, it was becoming emotional and psychological. I realized that if I did not set boundaries decisively, the very core of our marriage could be dismantled by the influence of outside voices. I confronted her again, this time with firmness. "Hina, this is not a game, not a thought experiment. You're proposing to allow yourself to connect intimately with others while we are married. That's betrayal. That's not self-discovery, it's destruction. If this is what you want, then you need to face the consequences." Her reaction was a mix of frustration and confusion. She argued about growth, experience, and personal freedom. But I saw clearly that the betrayal was in the willingness to compromise the sanctity of our marriage at the suggestion of someone else. It was not about me being controlling. It was about her willingness to let external influence dictate our vows. The decision became inevitable. I realized that boundaries, once crossed, cannot be ignored. The idea of an open marriage was not simply a philosophical discussion, it was a prelude to infidelity and emotional separation. I made it clear that our marriage would not entertain such proposals, and that respecting the trust and commitment we had promised each other was non-negotiable. Hina's disappointment was evident. She struggled to reconcile her curiosity and desire for exploration with the reality of our shared commitment. I understood her perspective, but I could not compromise the principles of trust and loyalty that define my understanding of marriage. The betrayal was not a fleeting act, it was the willingness to entertain and normalize disloyalty at the suggestion of a friend. In the weeks that followed, we sought counseling, attempted dialogue, and addressed underlying issues in our relationship. While Hina's suggestion was a shock, it also revealed cracks in communication, unmet emotional needs, and the dangers of external influence on marital stability. The experience forced both of us to confront our desires, boundaries, and understanding of fidelity. Through reflection, I realized that betrayal is not always overt. Sometimes it manifests in ideas, suggestions, or manipulations that challenge the integrity of trust. By addressing it decisively, establishing boundaries, and refusing to compromise on core values, it is possible to protect the foundation of a relationship, even in the face of unconventional temptations or advice from friends. Hina gradually understood the gravity of her suggestion and the potential consequences. She recognized that marriage is not a laboratory for experimentation, and that the influence of external voices cannot override shared commitments. Our discussions, though tense, became an opportunity for realignment, reaffirmation, and recommitment to mutual respect and loyalty. In retrospect, the incident stands as a profound lesson in trust, boundaries, and the importance of acting decisively in the face of betrayal. While she did not act on her friend's advice, merely entertaining it and presenting it as a possibility constituted a breach of trust. Confronting it firmly preserved the integrity of our marriage and reinforced the standards necessary for a healthy, committed relationship. Ultimately, the suggestion of an open marriage, influenced by external advice, became a turning point. It exposed vulnerabilities, challenged assumptions, and demanded clarity about principles, loyalty, and personal boundaries. By responding decisively, I demonstrated that while curiosity and self-discovery are natural, they cannot come at the expense of trust, commitment, and the sacred bond of marriage. The memory of that conversation, the casual delivery of a life-altering suggestion, the shock and betrayal it induced, and the firm, measured response remains vivid. It is a reminder that betrayal is not always an act. Sometimes it is a suggestion, a temptation, or an influence that tests the limits of integrity. Responding with clarity, firmness, and adherence to core values is essential to preserving trust and protecting the foundation of a marriage.